Hello everyone, welcome for chemistry laboratory. So in today's session we will be seeing how to carry on the titrometric analysis अथवा titration. So in the previous class I told you there are two titrometric analysis or two acid base titrations which has to be performed for the practical examination, and one among that titration is titration of अथवा titration between sodium hydroxide and oxalic acid. Then what is the aim of this experiment now? So the aim is we have to determine the molarity of sodium hydroxide solution using standard 0.1 molar oxalic acid solution, which means NaOH is the solution of unknown concentration and oxalic acid is the solution of known concentration. Then what is the principle behind this experiment? The principle is sodium hydroxide is a base, oxalic acid being an acid. So when we mix these two, neutralization reaction takes place leading to the formation of sodium oxalate and water. So this is the chemical equation for the reaction that is happening. NaOH combines with oxalic acid solution leading to the formation of the salt, which is sodium oxalate along with water. Now, what are the apparatus that is required? So, apparatus I have already told you, we require burette, pipette, conical flask, and along with that we require two solutions, and those two solutions are sodium hydroxide and oxalic acid. Now we will see what is the procedure for it. So, for the procedure we are going to fill the burette with sodium hydroxide solution and we are going to pipette out exactly 10 ml of oxalic acid solution into a clean conical flask. Add 2 or 3 drops of phenolphthalein indicator. So, this compound will act as indicator for this titration. 2 or 3 drops of phenolphthalein indicator has to be added to the conical flask, which will be the reaction mixture, and then this reaction mixture should be titrated against the solution taken in the burette until the color of the solution changes to pale pink. So, once the solution changes to pale pink, we can stop the titration and start the tabulation. So, what is the observation that is done during this titration, or what is the observation that has to be recorded? The observation of this experiment is in the burette we will be filling up with sodium hydroxide solution. Now, this will be the titrant. In the conical flask we will be taking 10 ml of oxalic acid solution. So, this is a liquid. To that we will be adding 2 or 3 drops of phenolphthalein indicator. And what is the indicator over here? Indicator is phenolphthalein. And what is the end point? End point is appearance of pale pink color. So, we have to carry on the procedure, we have to carry on the experiment and we have to do this observation. Now, we will carry on the experiment literally and we will see how the reaction takes place, how can we identify the end point. So, this is the experimental setup. So, I have a burette, pipette, conical flask, a funnel, and these two are the solutions. So, this is sodium hydroxide solution and this is oxalic acid solution. So, this concentration we do not know, and this concentration of this solution is 0.1. This is the standard solution by using which the concentration of sodium hydroxide has to be determined by volumetric analysis. Okay. So, first let us fill the burette. So, I told you first of all we have to wash the apparatus with water. For washing, close the knob, fill the water. So, I have not filled the water. If you are seeing I have not filled the water completely, just roll the burette like this. So, while we are rolling, what is happening? The water is coming in contact with the entire burette and the entire burette is getting washed up. Later on, wash the nozzle portion also by running down the solution like this. Now, the burette is washed. After that, I told you we have to rinse it. So, rinsing, what we have to do? We have to wash the apparatus with the solution which is filled in it. So, in the burette, we will be filling up with sodium hydroxide solution. Therefore, I will be rinsing burette with sodium hydroxide, close the knob again and fill and add small amount of sodium hydroxide. Do not add too much because we will be discarding this. It will not be of any use. So, I have taken sodium hydroxide till here, then start rotating so that the entire burette is rinsed. Now, the entire burette is rinsed. Now, rinse the nozzle portion as well. So, after the nozzle portion is filled, now the burette is ready for filling. Why we have to rinse the solution? Because previously the apparatus would have been washed with water. Water droplets will be present inside which may dilute the solution. That is the reason we will be rinsing it. So, while rinsing, while filling up, place the funnel like this and raise the funnel with your thumb, leaving a small air gap. So, if it is not raised, then what happens? The solution will pour out of the funnel. So, raise it by using the thumb like this and start adding the solution. So, slowly add it. So, I have started adding the solution. Since I am giving the air gap, the solution is clearly and comfortably going into the burette. While we are filling up, take the solution above the 0 level. So, I have taken the solution above the 0 level, take out the funnel, remove the funnel from the burette and then start adjusting. Nozzle is not filled, first fill the nozzle. So, I am filling the nozzle by running down the solution. Nozzle is filled, there is no air gap. Next is we have to adjust the lower meniscus of this solution to 0 because both the meniscus are visible over here. When both the meniscus are visible, we have to concentrate on the lower meniscus. So, adjust in such a way that lower meniscus exactly coincides on the 0. Yes. So, for adjusting, since you have already rinsed, you can take the solution that you are adjusting into the beaker, respective beakers. Do not mix the solutions as I told you. So, some more droplets have to be removed. Some more, just a drop. I think it's sufficient. Yes. So, what we have to do is while checking the reading, we have to stand still, stand straight, raise the meniscus to your upper eye level. So, when I am standing straight and when I have raised the meniscus to my eye level, the lower meniscus is exactly coinciding on the 0. Now, the burette is ready to perform the experiment. I am clamping this to the stand by placing the knob on to my right side. Okay. Now, take the pipette. So, we are going to, so the titration procedure says we have got to pipette out exactly 10 ml. So, pipette has to be washed with water and it has to be rinsed with. So, first washing. So, as I showed you for the burette, take water, then slowly this marking above that is washed, discard the solution. Now it is rinsed. Now we have to, washed. Now we have to rinse it. For rinsing, since I will be pipetting out oxalic acid, I have to rinse the pipette with oxalic acid. So I have taken a very small amount of oxalic acid. So first rinse the bubble, later on rinse the marking, and later on discard the solution. Don't discard the solution from this side because you will be sucking the solution through this end. So use only the nozzle to discard the solution. Take as much solution as possible. After that, blow off after rinsing. Now entire solution is gone. So now the pipette is rinsed. Now pipette out exactly 10 ml of oxalic acid solution into the clean conical flask. Observe, this is the marking of the pipette. So the lower meniscus of the solution should exactly reside on this marking. So hold the beaker. Tip of the pipette should be completely dipped in the solution and start sucking the solution. Yes. So I have taken the solution above the zero, above the marking, and I am closing the pipette with the stem of the pipette with my forefinger. Now the solution is over here, marking is over here. Now start adjusting by slightly slowly rotating the pipette. So when I am slowly rotating, what is happening? The solution is coming down. So as you are seeing, the solution is coming down, and once it comes on this marking, close it tightly. Then discard it, transfer the solution immediately into the conical flask. Afterwards, tap the tip slowly to the bottom of the conical flask 2 or 3 times. Don't tap it so hard that the tip breaks. If the tip is broken, pipette will not be of any use. So now I have pipetted out. Then place the pipette. To this, I have to add phenolphthalein indicator. So this is phenolphthalein solution, which is phenolphthalein indicator. This phenolphthalein indicator is colorless in the acidic medium and turns pink color when the solution becomes basic or alkaline. For this, no need to add 2 ml together of phenolphthalein, just add 1 or 2 drops sufficient. 1, 2 sufficient. So I have added 2 drops of phenolphthalein indicator. Now if you are seeing, after adding the indicator also the solution is colorless. Now I have to titrate the solution against sodium hydroxide taken in the burette until the solution turns pale pink. So if you are seeing, I have placed a porcelain tile on the stand. This porcelain tile helps us to observe the exact color change. Okay. So now place the conical flask below the burette like this, and the burette has to be operated with the left hand 3 fingers, not with the right hand. Left hand 3 fingers has to be used to operate the burette like this, and conical flask should be operated from the right hand like this, and you can adjust the burette to your comfortable height. Now I will start adding the solution slowly, drop wise. See, so I have started adding the solution. I am slowly adding. So if you are closely observing, so the point wherein the oxalic acid is coming, sodium hydroxide is coming in contact with the reaction mixture, pale pink is observed, and then since I am constantly shaking, uniform distribution agi, the solution is becoming colorless. So we have to continuously stir the solution. So I am continuously stirring the solution. So now if you are observing, pale pink is becoming bit prominent. So the moment So sodium hydroxide is coming in contact with oxalic acid, pale pink is coming and it is getting, when I am stirring, it is getting colorless. See, it is getting colorless. So I am slowly adding this. So as the end point approaches, the pink color prominates. It takes time. Disappearance of the pink color takes time. So I am just adding like this. So now the color is taking some time. Pink color is taking, it is not getting disappeared immediately. It is taking some time. So be cautious at this time, at this stage. Yes. So this is the color. So before adding one drop, the solution was colorless. Now the solution has turned pale pink. So this tells that the reaction has just got completed. After this, whatever amount of sodium hydroxide you had, reaction has already got completed. Intensity of the color will increase, that's it, nothing will happen. Now what we have got to do is close the burette tightly and take the reading. So as I have told you, we have to take the reading from top to bottom. So here the lower meniscus has to be observed. This is the main division, which is 11 and 12. Now the meniscus is between 11 and 12, right? So this is 11, this is 11.5 subdivision and this is 12. So it is in between 11 and 11.5. Now stand still, raise the meniscus to your eye level and see the reading. So when I stand still and raise the meniscus to my eye level, the volume of the solution comes out to be 11.4 ml. So now what we have got to do is, whatever value we have got over here, those values have to be entered into the tabular column. Enter it into the tabular column, discard the solution, wash the conical flask. No need to wash all the apparatus once again. Wash the conical flask alone, pipette out again, repeat the procedure, entire procedure again until and unless you get concordant value. What is meant by concordant value? Concordant value is nothing but a set of two values having exactly same, including the decimal points should be same. Such values we call it as concordant values. Okay. So now we will see how to enter these values in the tabular column. So after performing the experiment, now we will see how to enter the values into the tabular column and how to calculate finally what will be the result. So this is the tabular column for the titration. So this tabular column will be having 4 columns. First will be trial numbers, wherein we will be writing the trial numbers. Next row will be final burette reading, which is in cm cube or ml. Initial burette reading in cm cube or ml. Volume of NaOH run down from the burette in cm cube or ml. So what was the initial reading we took? Initial reading was 0.0 ml when we started. We adjusted the lower meniscus to 0 level and we started. Therefore, the initial reading is 0.0. What was the final reading? The final reading after performing the experiment came out to be 11.4. So what will be the volume of sodium hydroxide run down from the burette? We have to subtract these two. So when we subtract these two, we will get a value of 11.4. So volume of sodium hydroxide run down from burette in the first trial is 11.4. Next, we have to carry on the procedure, carry on the same procedure, and we have got to carry on the procedure till then until we get exactly same values, which we call it as concordant values. So for the second trial, no need to fill the burette again. This value of the first trial will be the initial reading of the second trial, and the final reading of second trial is 22.8 ml. So when we subtract these two, it comes out to be 11.4 ml. So both the values, both the trials have got exactly same values. This value we call it as concordant value, And now we can stop the titration and do the calculation. If we get, for example, just instance assume that one value I have got 11.4, other value I have got 11.2. Then are these two values concordant? Obviously not. They are non-concordant values. We have to carry on one more titration and we have to check. If the other titration comes out to be a same value, then we can start, or else we can stop the titration, or else we have to continue with the titration. So now we have got the value, concordant value, we can stop the titration. And what will be the concordant burette reading? So the concordant burette reading for this experiment is 11.4 cm cube. Right. So then what will be the initial reading for the third trial? Initial reading for the third trial will be the final reading of the second trial, and the final volume of the third trial comes out to be 34.2 ml. When we subtract these two, we have got 11.4 ml. So now we have got our concordant reading. The next job is to calculate the molarity of sodium hydroxide by using this value. To calculate or to calculate the molarity of sodium hydroxide solution, we use the formula molarity equation, which is A1 M1 V1 is equal to A2 M2 V2. Since we are taking two solutions, it is A1 M1 V1 is equal to A2 M2 V2. A1 V1 M1 of unknown solution, which is sodium hydroxide, A2 M2 V2 of known solution, which is oxalic acid solution. Now, what is A1? A1 is nothing but acidity of sodium hydroxide solution. A stands for acidity of sodium hydroxide solution. What is meant by acidity of sodium hydroxide solution? Athwa acidity of a base. Acidity of a base is nothing but the number of hydroxyl groups that are present in one molecule of the base. So one molecule of sodium hydroxide has got one hydroxyl group, therefore its acidity is 1. So M1 is molarity of sodium hydroxide, which we don't know, we have to calculate it, therefore I have put a question mark. V1 is nothing but volume of sodium hydroxide solution. Which volume I have to consider? I have to consider the concordant value. So that's the reason I have written BR. BR stands for concordant burette reading, which is 11.4 cm cube. Now, what is A2? For base it is acidity, for acid it is basicity. Therefore, A2 is nothing but basicity of oxalic acid. So, what is meant by basicity? Basicity is nothing but the number of replaceable hydrogen ions present in one molecule of the acid. So, oxalic acid has got two replaceable hydrogen atoms, hence its basicity is 2. Then M2 is molarity of oxalic acid. In the beginning, standard solution we said it is 0.1. So, oxalic acid was the standard solution, its concentration is 0.1. Volume, V2 is volume of oxalic acid, which is 10 ml. We pipetted out exactly 10 ml of oxalic acid solution during the experiment. Now, we know these things, we have to calculate M1. So, M1 will be equal to A2 M2 V2 of oxalic acid divided by A1 V1 of sodium hydroxide. A2 of oxalic acid 2, M2 of oxalic acid 0.1, V2 of oxalic acid 10 divided by A1 of sodium hydroxide is 1, V1 burette reading, that I will be substituting over here. 2 into 0.1 into 10 divided by 1 into 11.4. So, the value comes out to be. So, then the value, when we calculate the value comes out to be 0.175438. Now, this purpose of doing the titration is for the sake of accuracy. That's the reason we are not supposed to round it off for the second digit, second decimal point. We have to write the concentration up to fifth decimal point. So 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. So this is the sixth decimal point. We can leave this if we want. So if you have to leave this, apply rounding off principle. This digit is more than 5. Therefore, one has to be added for this and then the number has to be deleted. So therefore, it is like this. So the molarity of the prepared sodium hydroxide solution is 0.17544 molar. So next is we have to write the result. So in the result we will write molarity of sodium hydroxide solution is determined to be equal to 0.17544 molar. So after performing the experiment, after calculation, next thing is we have to record whatever we have done in the laboratory in the practicals record. So practicals, while we are writing about titration, certain things have to be written on the ruled side and certain particular things have to be written on the unruled side. On the ruled side, we have to start with experiment number, page number and date when we performed the experiment, followed by name of the experiment, aim of the experiment, materials required, theory, procedure and reaction, followed by the result. On the unruled side, we have to start with observation, followed by a neat tabular column wherein the values, determined values are entered, followed by the calculation part and showing the substitution, followed by the result. So we have got to write the same result in the result column. So this is how we record the titration or titrometric analysis in the practical record.